So, St. Louis has a problem. Robbie Fabbri's out for a whole season. At this point, I think Fabbri's career may be a lot shorter than any of us had anticipated. So they announced yesterday Fabbri was out for the season, and then attached to that is now St. Louis apparently is deciding whether or not they're going to bring in Jaromir Jagr. I've had people saying, I should do a video on Jagr because he's going to play with Kladno. I've already talked about him playing with Kladno during the summer. That he had said if he didn't have a contract and he didn't get a shot at training camp, he was just going to play at home. So to me, that wasn't really news as much as, yeah, that's what he said he was going to do, so that's what he's doing. If the Blues bring in Jagr, it'll be exactly what I figured would happen. Veteran players who, like Jagr, hold on, will get a chance. They'll get a chance when there's injury. And if Iginla's out there waiting as well, I think eventually he'll get his chance as well. Because there's two scenarios. Either your team gets hurt and you got to bring in a hired gun, which would be the case with the Blues. Or two, you're in a contending spot, you're going down the stretch, you go, yeah, you know what, maybe we need one more guy, and you're bringing in that hired gun for 20 games. Which could very well have happened with Jagr. I haven't bought for a second that there's any kind of a conspiracy at NHL level to keep Jagr from breaking the games record of Gordie Howe's. There's nobody cares. Games played record's going to drop soon anyways because players are in shape longer until they're older. The only thing that's really blocked it to this point, I think, would be the fact that we've had so many lockouts. The lockouts have had a dramatic effect on how many games get played, how many points get scored in a guy's career. It's really kind of sad. That's part of the reason I hate lockouts so much, is because they negatively impact a player's career's totals. That 04-05 season, that gaping hole in so many careers, yeah. It would be interesting to go through and figure out where guys' points and goal totals would end up with that. But I digress. Jagr. He'll get his shot, I think, at cracking Gordie Howe's record. He will definitely get his shot at any other records he wants. If he wants to eventually hit 2,000 points. It'll probably take more than a year, but he's determined to stick around. So if he plays, and he plays well for the Blues, he may get a shot again next year. The Blues are in desperate shape right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they reached out to Jagr and Iginla, because the Blues want to compete now. So they don't want to have injuries force them into a situation where it's a retool. Not a rebuild, because they don't need that. But where they're retooling on the fly. And end up in a position where they're a have-not at the deadline and maybe they're trying to rent out Stastny. That's not a situation St. Louis fans or management are going to want. So Jagr coming in makes a lot of sense. He's not going to ask for a lot of money. He's not going to want a lot of term. He'll take a one-year deal for probably $1.5 million, $2 million. He just wants to prove himself. I had thought before the whole free agency started and he talked about how nobody had been calling on his phone. I thought that was kind of a joke. I thought, well, somebody will at least call him. And they didn't. And apparently he was offered a couple of tryouts and he refused them. And when you look at how many players signed those professional tryouts that have been released since then, you can understand where he's coming from. He wants some kind of certainty. He doesn't want to come over from Czech and, practice for a week, play a couple of preseason games, and then get told, yeah, no, we were right in the first place, you're not good enough, and get sent home. So he may play with Kladno this weekend, and I'm sure he'll play well if he does. That's his home team. But in terms of where he wants to play permanently this year, it's either the NHL or the KHL, and he would much prefer the NHL. And think about all those years he spent in the KHL, and if he'd spent them in the NHL, we'd be, talking about how many records he's already broken and how many points is he going to get. Is he going to get to 2,300 points? Like, it would be some crazy number at this point. But if Gordie Howe hadn't gone to the WHA, nobody'd be anywhere near him in games, and he'd have way more points. So there's that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Will Jagr be a Blue this time next week? Or will the Blues figure something else out? If you're a Blues fan, how do you feel about this? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.